my name is JD and this is my channel Frost and Forest. So today I am actually recording a video right before we are about to leave town and go on vacation for a week. So every year we head up to the North Shore and have a vacation with my husband's family. And so I am thinking about the decks and the books and the dice that I'm going to be bringing along with me for the week. And so I thought it might be fun for you all to come along with me while I decide what I want to bring. Although by the time you all see this video, we will be heading home from up north. So we are going to start by talking about the books that I am planning on bringing on vacation. Usually end up getting quite a bit of time to do some reading while I'm there. I usually try to bring a few different books. So the first book that I'm reading right now is called Eager, The Surprising Secret Life of Beavers and Why They Matter. And it is a nonfiction book that I've been working on for like a week or so. I just haven't had much time or as much interest in reading nonfiction over the last few weeks, so I'm hoping having some time on vacation will help me make a big dent in this book, because this book is super interesting. I never understood how impactful beavers are to our ecosystem and how impactful the beaver trade was to making the country that we have today. So if you are interested in beavers, I definitely recommend this book, even though I'm only partway through. That is one book that I'm bringing. And then the second book that I am for sure bringing is, let's see if I can get it. It's mostly in frame. But anyway, this book is called Matchmakers for Psychopaths, obviously. But this book, I actually read the first one in this series, which was Love Letters to a Serial Killer, last time we went on vacation. And then I saw that this author came out with a second book. And I will say, the first one was a good vacation read because it moved pretty quickly. It was suspenseful. It was good. And so I'm excited to bring this book on vacation with me as well. And I haven't actually started this one yet, but I'm sure I will get through it. And I did have another book. This one, I've heard that this book is really good. I was thinking about bringing this one along too, but this one might stay at home and be my next read, because realistically, I am not sure that I would get through 3 books. But if I decide to bring 3 books, this is the other book I'll bring. We're going to talk about decks that I'm bringing. This might be a shorter video, but that's okay. We're going to talk about decks, and then once I have my decks chosen, then I'm going to talk about dice. So, starting out, I mentioned this in a recent video, my video about Wisconsin creators, but this is the Great Lakes Oracle. I did show the whole deck. So I did show the whole deck. So I'll just show this a little bit, but we are headed up to the North Shore on Lake Superior. And so, of course, I needed to bring this deck because this is the Great Lakes Oracle. And so whenever we head up north to spend some time, I always bring this deck along. So this deck is for sure coming. Other deck that is for sure coming is the not the Great Lakes Tarot, the Tarot for the Great Outdoors. The reason that I say that deck is for sure coming is because, the reason the Great Lakes Tarot is coming is because it pairs beautifully with the Great Lakes Oracle. These two just work so nicely together. And so it just means when we head up north that these two decks are 100% for sure coming. And I will say, you know, what part of what I'm thinking about a little bit with this is that I want decks that kind of feel like where I'm going, but I also want to bring decks that are easy to carry, not too big. I also probably don't want to bring any of my decks that are super irreplaceable, because if something happens, then that's not great. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about which decks I'm going to bring. But these two for sure are going to come. And, you know, the Tarot of the Great Outdoors is a mass market deck, so easily replaceable. And Great Lakes Oracle is an indie deck, but also, you know, I can't go up north and not bring this deck. So, and there's a beaver card. So these two are for sure coming. Well, 2 decks are probably going to be enough. I like to do daily pulls sometimes. I do Dawn Michelle's membership practice during the week. And so because of that, I like to have a few more decks with me, just to have, you know, different options and to have different combinations that I can try, just depending on what the vibe is when I decide I want to pull out cards. And so I'm bringing 2 decks, but I was also thinking that, you know, I'm a very introverted person, and when we are around my husband's family, it can get kind of overwhelming sometimes because he has a very big family and I come from a very small family. And so I was also thinking it might be kind of nice to bring the Mindscapes Tarot. This is a relatively new deck to me. I just got it recently because it obviously just came out mass market recently. But part of the reason why I'm thinking I want to bring it up north with us is because it just feels like such a calming deck. You know, there's no people in it, really. I guess there's a few people, but, you know, they're not really the center part of the image, and they're not really what you focus on. And so I just thought, you know, this might be the kind of deck that if I am feeling overwhelmed with the amount of people around me, this might be a good calming deck to have with me. And also, you know, when I bring decks on vacation, I tend to really focus on them because I have the brain space to focus and because I only have so many options with me. And so, yeah, I think it would be a good opportunity to get to know this deck a little bit, and it is a mass market deck. So I'm curious though, I want to see, so we're going to shuffle a little bit, just so we're not looking at all the same cards. Although, hold on. This is the backs of the tarot, the Great Lakes Oracle, and this is the backs of the Mindscapes Tarot. They look so good together. The backs look nice together. But I'm curious how the fronts look. So let's just check that out. There we go. So I definitely like the way the Great Lakes Oracle looks with the Tarot of the Great Outdoors, but I also don't think that these look bad together. I think they kind of work. And so, you know, not that I can only pair decks that look nice together. Obviously, you can pair any decks together, but it is always kind of fun when you have decks that look pretty and nice together. And so that's kind of what I'm checking out a little bit. But I think I could definitely use these two decks together. Okay, so I am gonna bring the Mindscapes Tarot because I think it'll be a good deck for kind of calming myself. So 3 decks. The other thing I'm thinking about is space. Really my decks and my books and, you know, my iPad and stuff like that has to fit in my backpack. So space is a consideration. Another deck I was thinking about bringing, and I can't fully tell you why I was thinking about bringing it. It just kind of in my brain for whatever reason that I should think about bringing this deck. So I was thinking about bringing this. This deck is very small. And I don't fully know why I kind of want to bring this deck, because it is not mass market, and I did have to pay quite a bit of shipping for it. And so I don't know, but for whatever reason, I just kind of want to bring this deck. And I think it's because, again, when I bring decks along on vacation, it's a good way to kind of get to know them. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this deck. So, you know, I kind of want to bring this deck along. And this is, I think, the kind of deck that sort of feels like a Lenormand, that you can just kind of get a quick reading from it if you want. And so that might be nice to kind of have. And I think also part of what's been attracting me to it is the summer cards are very beachy. And so I think that that's also part of the reason why I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I think I want to bring I think it's called Kalat cards. So yeah. So this kind of fits sort of like the space of a Lenormand. So I think I'm going to bring that one. And I'm curious what so they look good together, I think. Because this is the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. They both have a year-round outdoorsy vibe to me. So yeah, I think these ones would look great together if I decide to use them together. And then let's also check oops, I'm losing my setup here. But yeah, I think these ones could go together okay too. You know, this one feels, the Mindscapes feels a little bit more like a painting, but whereas this feels a little bit more like digital art. But I think the colors, especially in the summer cards, really match pretty well. Okay, so that's 4 decks. Right now I have 2 tarot decks that I'm bringing. I have a Oracle deck that I'm bringing, and I have what kind of feels like a Lenormand deck. Kind of want, I think, one more Oracle deck, just because I love the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. I think it's a good deck. I just sometimes like to have another option for oracles. Let's see. So one deck that I was kind of thinking might fit sort of the theme of the decks that I am bringing is the Gaia Tarot, or the Gaia Oracle. Now, this one, I don't know if I actually want to bring along. Part of the reason why I'm not sure about this one is this is one that I believe is out of print, and it has an external guidebook that's like a miniature book. So I'm not entirely sure that this is the one I want to bring, but I think it would also look really nice with the decks I've picked out already. And I feel like it's a good Oracle deck, and so it would give me another option for a good Oracle deck. And these two decks, I think, look beautiful together. And they just, wow. I was not expecting these decks to look this good together. They're just beautiful, and they just feel very calming to me. The color tones are a little bit different, but I really like the way these two decks look together. So that was one option that I'm not entirely sure about, because I don't entirely know if I want to bring the Gaia Oracle with me. The other option that I was thinking about is I have my little bag, is the Roots and Wings mini. This is a really good travel oracle because it is so small. And it just, you know, has everything in this little container. So this one is smaller than the other one. So that's nice. And it's a little bit more travel friendly. Yeah. So, I mean, I think these they don't have the wow factor that the Gaia had with it, but I think that these would be fine together. And then let's check out how the Tarot of the Great Outdoors looks with this one. Yeah, I think they're okay together. They're not, you know, my favorite pairing in the whole wide world, but also, you know, I'm just going to be gone for a week. So I think these two decks would be fine together for a week. And the one thing I will say, and the reason that I thought of the Roots and Wings is because I remember that the Roots and Wings looks really nice with the Oracle of the Great Lakes. I like the way these two kind of look together. And when I've brought them together in the past, they have worked well together. So I actually think, as much as I thought the Gaia, the Lessons of Gaia Oracle looked really good with the Mindscapes, I think I'm going to bring the Easier Travel. Oops, the Easier Travel Oracle. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. So I'm going to be bringing, and we'll see if I can get all of these on here. I'm going to be bringing the Roots and Wings Oracle, the Great Lakes Oracle, the Mindscapes Tarot, and the Tarot of the Great Outdoors. And then also I am going to bring the Kalat cards, I think. So I think I'm bringing 5 decks, and I think they all look pretty nice together. I don't have quite enough space, but yeah, I think they all look pretty nice together. So I think this will be good. The last thing that I'm gonna pick is which dice do I want to bring with me, because I do Dawn Michelle's weekly practice, so I want to bring dice with me. So let's check out what dice I'm bringing. I should bring. So I'm just gonna lay this card down, and that card down, and that card down. So my first option for dice are, I kind of wish I had some watery dice now. So my first dice options are these sort of, they're flowers. So I don't know if you can see here, but they've got like different colored yellow and kind of a green and kind of a pinky red flowery color. So I've got these, which I think would go okay. These ones that are kind of like green and orange. I don't know that I like those ones. Yeah, I don't think I want to bring these. So then the last option I was thinking about is these kind of, they're purple and they've got like, they've got kind of like moss looking things, and they are really cool because if you shake them, then they like look like there's liquid in the middle, so you can kind of like, I'm trying to see if you can see, maybe a bigger one. Yeah, you can see this a little better. They've got liquid in them, and so if you shake them, then they kind of swirl around. So I think I'm liking, compared to those ones, yeah, I think I'm liking the purple one. So yeah. Yeah, I think the purple ones are the ones that I'm bringing. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this was fun for you. It was kind of cool to get to think about some decks and figure out which decks that I'm bringing. Ended up deciding not to bring the Lessons of Gaia tarot, but instead I'm going to bring 2 tarot decks, one deck that's sort of like Lenormand system but kind of does its own thing, and then 2 oracle decks. And I don't think that that'll be too much to bring, and that'll give me a nice variety for kind of whatever I would want to do there. And then of course I already showed you the books that I'm going to bring. So I'm curious, what are some of the decks that you like to bring when you go on vacation? Do you bring this many decks? Do you think I brought way too many decks? I realize that might be a possibility, that I brought way too many decks, but for me 5 is a good number for a week. And so how many decks do you like to bring when you're on vacation? Also, if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could like the video as well as subscribe to my channel. My channel is kind of small, but you know, I am trying to grow, and any new subscriber helps the algorithm, I think. I mean, I don't actually know this because who actually knows, but in theory, having more subscribers helps with the algorithm and helps my channel to grow. So I would appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe, and I will see you when I get back from vacation. Thanks for stopping by.